This series between the Timberwolves and Grizzlies was wild, so it was fitting that the final game had equal parts exhilaration and exasperation. But it took Memphis coach Taylor Jenkins turning to a secret lineup, one we had barely seen before, to right the ship before some confounding plays by Minnesota led to the inevitable conclusion. And I'm not even sure where either of these two teams are heading in the future, but it sure as heck will be exciting. After one quarter, the Wolves were clinging to a 1-point lead, and Jenkins must have said to himself, I'm going to throw a lineup out there that had played 113 minutes together all season long. A lineup whose net rating was -10. A lineup that featured a player in John Konchar who had played all of 7 minutes up to this point in the series. Interestingly, Minnesota coach Chris Finch said, "I see your hardly used player and raise you one that had only played 6 seconds up till now." But his hand was forced since Naz Reid was unavailable. Monroe screens for Edwards before turning to set the flare screen for Beasley. This worked great, drawing 2 defenders, but Bane's help rotation was even better as he sprinted underneath to cleanly knock this ball away before Konchar keeps it alive with a nice save. In transition, Monroe overhelps on the drive when he should have been more aware of where his man was, as Jaren Jackson Jr. gets a great look from behind the arc. Because Memphis kept pushing the ball up fast all night, they had a lot of cross matches, and Anthony Edwards has little hope to keep Brandon Clarke off the boards. Another quick attack catches Minnesota out of position. Monroe high hedges his inside ball screen. With his strong side corner empty, there isn't any help on Brandon Clarke, who should be getting this pass. However, Beasley is showing his chest to the ball at the top of the key, which I don't like, considering he's creating a 12-foot closeout that Bane immediately attacks into the middle. This would have been a wide open shot when Jordan McLaughlin also helps one pass away and Clarke setting the flare screen, but that screen doesn't get set. Good recovery, but they just put Monroe in the pick and roll. He gets caught in between containing the ball and worried about the roll. As a result, it's a little floater that goes around and in. Now here's a set I hadn't seen in a minute, the classic Spurs motion weak as Jones enters to the wing, then shallow cuts to the weak side for the pass. Shuffle cut by Jackson Jr. doesn't get them the post up they wanted, but the flex action out top gets Bane a curl. Edwards has to bump Clarke as he cuts to the basket. A good pass would have gotten an open shot here. Instead, Monroe makes a great defensive play to strip Clarke on his pivot, and Beasley is in a real hurry to dunk this ball. This looks to be a pin away for Bane to get a shot out top, but Beasley is hugging him, so they turn this into a double ball screen for Jones. I don't mind the high hedge by Monroe that much, but it puts him out of position to get back quickly on Clarke, who promptly attacks him off the dribble and hits him with a nice spin and jump hook from the dotted line. Jordan McLaughlin played great for Minnesota last night, and here's why. The Timberwolves know a ball screen will easily force a switch, but they blow their chance at an easy post-up with Jones on him when he sets a screen out of the corner. However, it allows McLaughlin to attack on the catch versus their other mismatch. Konchar has to rotate to the penetration. Bane is supposed to be moving in the direction of the ball towards the corner. But check this pass from McLaughlin. He shovels it almost underhanded, right on the money, but Beasley blows the wide open corner 3. Again, an easy switch gets Bane on Monroe down low, and despite the great rotation and block, it left Jones to deal with Monroe. No chance. Here's a defensive concept I really don't like. Konchar comes all the way to the midline to show early help on a guy who drives very well. But it's just too easy to make the pass to the wing where McDaniels attacks on the catch right into the lane, where the defense is really compromised. That said, this was a clean strip of the ball, but they get 2 free throws. Monroe had a target on his back, his front, and every other side as a pin down for Clarke gets him the elbow catch with 5 feet of space to work with, and he's forced to foul after going for the head fake. I guess Monroe is mad at McLaughlin for not bumping Clarke on his cut initially, but this is probably just frustration and himself as well. But Monroe made himself useful on this end, and even though it made little sense for him to screen to force a switch to get Clarke onto him, the gamble for the pass was ill-advised as it leads to the layup. But they pick on him on the weak side, as it's Monroe's job to bump the roll man, but Jones hits Jackson Jr. on the corner lift early, catching Monroe a full second behind, leading to the wide open triple to break the tie. They had been forcing mismatches from Monroe this whole time, so it was strange to me that they just go straight to the post against a good defender his size. It wasn't a bad move as he spins and gets Jackson Jr. in the air, but Triple J isn't one of the best shot blockers in the business for no reason, as he somehow avoids the contact with the contortion of the legs, and the Grizzlies dig it out. Monroe both helped the Wolves and hurt them, so overall I'd say he had a neutral effect on the game, despite what Rob said on Twitter. And this offensive set was shaping up to get a great shot. Out of horns, Bane slips the ball screen into his own ball screen, luring Monroe to the three-point line since this guy can flat out stroke the ball from deep. This short roll would have yielded a great shot at the rim or an open corner three, but Monroe deflects the pass into a steal that directly leads to 2 free throws in transition. Here's another nice action. As Konchar screens Monroe, watch him go underneath, which puts him way out of position to defend the inside ball screen. However, because Konchar is still cutting through, his man can stop this pretty easily, and they don't get a shot at a skip for an open three. Watch McDaniels' feet, since this is how you should play defense. He's taking away middle penetration, forcing him to the baseline. No need for McLaughlin to show his chest at the nail and open up an easy drive on a skip. Perfect defense forces the miss, and Minnie gets the ball back. Here's a great set by Minnesota, a high post split that starts at the post entry looking for the back door. If that's covered, the passer split screens to the corner, the defense doesn't switch this, leaving Bane woefully behind the play, and here's why Anthony Edwards reminds me of, I'm going to say it, Michael Jordan. Explosive, strength, shoots with his offhand on the way down, and it's still soft off the glass for an incredible bucket. Another quick attack into the ball screen should have gotten Clark a roll for a dunk, but it flows nicely into a little blind pig action as they flash the big to the weak side high post and cut Jones behind him. That's not open. Nice flow into a pick and roll, and Bane gets the drifting layup but can't finish when he shoots it too hard. But Clark earns 2 more free throws when no one is left to box him out. Minnesota runs the same play, but McDaniels freezes on his backdoor cut, so he's almost in the way of the split. Monroe gets impatient and tries to do it himself, not realizing that the late backdoor cut means Brandon Clark is waiting for him to help contest this into a miss. This kind of thing can be maddening as a coach as the Wolves dodge 2 serious bullets at the rim, but Cat just carelessly throws this outlet pass away. Remember, they're up by 10, no need to push this ball that quickly, and there's no one left to get to Jackson Jr.'s wide open 3-ball. Cat does it again to his team when they run an interesting set that flares him into a pin down out of the corner. But watch how Beasley quickly sets his own pin down for Towns. I bet this is normally a wide open shot for Cat, but Jackson Jr. gets there. Towns' foot is on the 3-point line for the worst shot in basketball, especially with 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Can you hear me shaking my head? Another quick action catches the defense unprepared as McLaughlin foolishly goes underneath this screen and gives Jones a good look from beyond the arc to cut it to 4. Here's that same action where Konchar screens Clark's man at the elbow before cutting out of there. Again, Jones comes around that ball screen with no defender in front of him. By the time he meets resistance, he's at the free throw line, opening up a nice pocket pass to Clark, who gets 2 more free throws. Watch how this pin down for Beasley occupies Jackson Jr. so much that he has no idea McLaughlin is blowing by Jones. Nobody rotates, and it's a nice finish to up the lead to 5. Here's where I thought, okay, we're going to a Game 7. Cat's threat of a 3 is no joke, and Jackson Jr. goes for the shot fake to allow Cat into the lane. Normally, you'd see Clark step up and Bane sink down, but instead, Konchar was closer and stops the ball. Had this pass been better, Beasley might have had the open shot, but McLaughlin attacks the closeout into the middle. Bane doesn't sink as he should this time, and McDaniels gets to smosh all over Jackson Jr. When you allow the ball handler to use an inside screen in the middle, it's usually death to the defense. Clark has to slide over to contain, Konchar is stuck trailing by 2 steps, and Jackson Jr. was too slow bumping down. Also, check how Cat doesn't open up to the ball like most coaches teach the roll. I'd argue this way is better, so he can more quickly push off that left foot to get going downhill instead of pivoting and then pushing off. Despite the positive net rating of this Memphis lineup, it felt at this point like it wasn't going to be enough as the Wolves had figured it out. However, friend of the breakdown, Worldwide Wob, offered a Twitter thread to illustrate the issues on the Timberwolves side that led to their downfall, so let's go through them one by one. In the third, Patrick Beverley commits a take foul to stop the Memphis fast break, but you can't do this late in the quarter when the Grizzlies are in the bonus. Beverley is even arguing with the refs, but it wasn't about the obvious take foul. It was from 2 plays ago when he shot and made a 3. Perhaps this is why he lost his mind and didn't realize how bad a foul this was, giving them 2 free points. Rob was right on this one, nursing a 2-point lead with 4 minutes to go. A quick step back with a great contest was simply the wrong choice. And you can see Patrick Beverley and Chris Finch both feel the air sucked out of the arena. I love the Ja versus Ant rivalry, something we'll enjoy for years to come, but when Cat tries to reach in and lose sight of his own man, there wasn't much choice except to put him on the line. However, whacking him this hard across the head proved costly since it was easily ruled a flagrant. However, this only yielded 1 point since Clark missed a free throw, and this incredible sequence around the rim somehow led to a stop by the defense despite the close proximity of the ball to the hoop. Finch calls a timeout, and I like the quick handoff back to Edwards attacking the middle since Bane is trailing by 2 steps. But wait, Cat keeps the ball, again ignores the open cutter looking for the handoff, and then jacks up the worst shot in basketball right in front of the 3-point line? What? And this directly leads to a bad defensive rotation. Since the ball screen is going to the left side, McDaniels properly bumps down to pick up the roll man. Beverley has no business putting both of his feet in the lane. Now he's got a 24-foot closeout, and leaving his feet isn't bad. It's landing this way and taking himself out of the play that's problematic as Bane nails the shot for a 2-point lead. I actually like this Iverson cut for Edwards to pivot into a drive on the catch. And the spin to turn over his left shoulder looked like a great idea, but he shot this as an 8-footer, and it turns out he was actually 10 feet away from the rim. With a 2-point lead, you might be wondering why Memphis is in such a hurry, but we saw how great their looks were when they caught Minnesota not disciplined enough in their transition defense. Great shot from Jones. The longish rebound is tough for a defense to corral. Why isn't Ja shooting this one? Cat realizes he's got to pick up Jones in the corner, check the head tilt on the release. Jones just wasn't comfortable on these, and Ja's got a full sprint at the rim that no one can keep up with, and the ball goes right to him. I don't envy McLaughlin trying to keep Ja in front. Hardly anyone on the planet can do this. McDaniel steps up to contest, Cat is there way too little too late, and the nails in the coffin are starting to be hammered. There aren't many words to describe how poor a decision this is, so I guess I'll let the shot speak for itself. I do want to quickly point out that Towns recovered a little bit. He doesn't force this high post move, instead finding McDaniels on a nice pass for a huge 3 that got them back in it. Now, I gotta disagree with this tweet. McLaughlin doesn't double for no reason. It's Ja frickin' Morant for one, and the bigger reason was that there were under 5 seconds left on the shot clock. It was reasonable to assume he was going to shoot it. However, this dribble combo into lefty push pass on the money was incredible, and the ball was released with 0.4 seconds left. That was the dagger, and now we get to see if the Grizzlies can lure the Warriors into their style of slightly sloppy yet energetic basketball.